Hello Wolfpack, got Wanchain here, and we got to do an update on Wanchain because it's been a while, and a lot of people in the Telegram group and on Twitter are constantly asking me about Wanchain. Where is it going? Is it still on track, etc. Because I've made some pretty bold claims about Wanchain in the past. I made 28 USD kind of prediction for Wanchain. I wouldn't really call it a prediction, but it is a prediction to some extent. Basically, I'm not going to get into it in this video, but I'll leave a link below for the video that I actually chose or made that prediction. And that prediction is based off Wanchain's correlation to Icon and how Wanchain wasn't in the last bull market. And if it was and it correlated perfectly to Icon, it would reach 28 USD. Now, obviously, that's a big extrapolation and it shouldn't be taken too literally, but it is a target. That we need to be looking out for, and I definitely think Wanchain could actually get there. Just looking at the market cap ranking, 28 USD wouldn't actually take you too far as well. It wouldn't take you into the top 10 or anything ridiculous like that. I don't even think it'd take you into the top 20 or 30. So Wanchain is definitely building behind the scenes. They haven't stopped building. They haven't stopped having partnerships. They've got partnerships with massive coins, massive blockchains. Massive projects. They've got a DEX. They've got a gamified NFT platform, all in their ecosystem. They've basically got it all. They're working with State Grid Corporation of China. I sound like a broken record talking about Wanchain. I've literally gone over the fundamentals so many times. So if you want to see more fundamentals, make sure to check out the previous videos I've done on them. But this is just a TA update because just like you, if you're holding Wanchain, just like you, I am completely and utterly disappointed in the price action right now, and it's very worrying, right? And I think to say it's not worrying would be illogical, okay? Because it is worrying, but hope is not lost. Because we're not expecting, and we never have been expecting. You can go back to my previous videos. I'm not just saying this now. We never have been expecting Wanchain to move up until Bitcoin tops. Okay, we can move up a little bit. Of course, we're going to. I think we're going to. If Bitcoin continues running, we're going to be moving up a little bit for sure. But the bulk of our move on Wanchain is going to happen after the BCC's top, and that's going to happen in around January for sure. Now, that's my personal opinion. It is an altcoin. It is a lower cap altcoin, and so usually with lower cap altcoins, the vast majority of their moves do happen after Bitcoin tops, taking 2017 and 2013, but particularly 2017 as there are more altcoins in that cycle as an example. I really wouldn't expect Wanchain to get much attention naturally, and that's why I don't think it's going to top out, or I don't think it's going to make a move when Bitcoin's moving, because it needs people to look for it. Wanchain has had a massive problem historically with the lack of, not the lack of marketing, actually the team really does try hard to market, I can see that for sure, but the lack of engagement, the lack of people finding out what the project is, the lack of, visibility, I assume, and I feel like if people did know what Wanchain was and they took the time out of their day to learn about it, this coin would be in the top 50 for sure, because it is fundamentally one of the best coins I've seen, certainly one of the best low cap coins I've seen for sure. They've got so much going on in their ecosystem, but I think that it kind of suffers a little bit from the problem of maybe being a little bit too complicated to understand, and when something is a little bit too complicated to understand, people kind of lose interest when they're trying to understand it. And Wanchain might have that. It might also have bad branding recognition because it did come out literally just after the Bitcoin top, or just after the Ethereum top in 2018. So it came out during a market crash, and it basically immediately crashed up to 90 to 95% from its all-time high within a matter of months. So a lot of people are definitely salty about that still, and people do remember, and the people who have the generational wealth, the people who have a lot of money in cryptocurrency, tend to be the people who have been around for previous cycles and remember that sort of thing. You have to remember that the people getting in 2020 and 2021, they tend to not have as much money, and that's just how it is, okay? Because cryptocurrency has gone up exponentially in 2017 and 2018, and a lot of people cashed out, and a lot of the people still around with the large amounts of money. A lot of whales were made in 2017 and 2018, and so those people might have a bit of PTSD from Wanchain, and they're not willing to put their capital in it. But I think that it does need that initial nudge, and it did get that nudge back here. We went up from February and had the nudge. It went from around 50 cents in February, and by April, which just a month and a half later, is $2.66. So it went up exponentially, and it did a very good job, but it double topped, unfortunately. And now we're basically back down to where we started. We're a little bit higher, but you get the memo. We're back to a pretty critical point on Wanchain. around 80 cents. And we can draw a trend line here, and we can kind of get an idea of what the actual trend is, and it's something like that, right? So realistically, this white line, I'll make it yellow, is actually our upwards trend line. So that's pulling us all the way back down to 55 cents, but we really don't want to be retesting that again. Of course, we want to be moving upwards to the upside now, and I think there is reason to believe that we would be doing that. I'm just worried about Bitcoin because, as I've said in previous videos, I'm not necessarily 100% certain where Bitcoin is going to bottom out. Look, I think it's either going to be 53k or it's going to be right now. I don't think we're going to go lower than 53k without even a dead cat bounce or anything like that. But you know, the point is Bitcoin is in a worrying position, and hence Wanchain will be in a worrying position, because this is, in my opinion, basically Wanchain's last chance to get its name out there until the next cycle, if it's even around by then. Because if Wanchain kind of doesn't really do much more in this cycle, I don't really know whether it's going to be around in the next cycle. They already stuck through one whole bear market and developed constantly. I think maybe you know, another whole bear market might not be in the cards. But that being said, they are definitely a project that is about technicals. They don't really care too much about the price from what I've seen. They have made efforts. They have a partnership with Bitcoin Crypto. Obviously, they have that Stake Group Corporation partnership. They can't really release too much information about it, though. And that's one of the problems with WAN, right? You know, they have a massive partnership with the Stake Group Corporation of China, absolutely exponentially massive partnership, you know, second or third biggest company in the world. And they can't release too much information about it because obviously China is all about censorship essentially, and you know, corporations in general are as well. So you know, there's not really much they can say until they're given the all clear. So they can't really use that too much as a marketing objective, which is kind of unfortunate for Wanchain, because that's definitely their biggest strong point. That kind of, you know, raises eyebrows as soon as you say it. Second biggest company in the world, and it's top 300. You know, so people would get kind of, I guess, aroused by that to a certain extent, and go check out the charts. But there isn't much to see on the charts, and that's the problem. That's what we're going to be getting into this video. So we'll get into it. You can see on Wanchain we have a downwards channel. We had a cup formation, right, but I've actually scrapped it completely because it just didn't seem like it was playing out. We've had such lengthy consolidation to the side. I think this doesn't really matter anymore over here, but we had a double bottom, and that was great to see. We made a quick trade on Wanchain there, but unfortunately we were left holding it because we thought it was going to go higher, but it simply just hasn't done much ever since then. But what we have here now is extensive sideways consolidation. We had a downwards channel. We broke that to the upside, and this is another really sad part about Wanchain. We broke the channel to the upside, but as soon as we broke to the upside, Bitcoin decided to start dying, and hence we got constant retests, and all of these retests look so good, and we were primed for a bounce, but we just kept retesting until finally ran out of our momentum and dropped right through. And now we're back on top. We're back on top, and we've flipped this area for resistance once again, not only the channel, but also our 84-cent support zone. So we're in a pretty decent position. If we're going to make a bounce, this is a great place to do it, right? This is a great place to do it for Wanchain. So I'm looking forward to what is going to happen here for Wanchain. What we do have on WAN is actually an SMA consolidation, or compression, I should say. So three of our fundamental SMAs in the medium term are the 12, the 26, and the 100 SMA. All three of those SMAs are consolidating or compressing into one singular region between around 4 cents of each other. Typically when that happens in charting, it means that an explosion is on the way, because there simply isn't enough room for the price to move. And it's like, again, I'm using this analogy, it's like pushing a beach ball under the water. When you let go, it's going to come out and it's going to jump up, right? So that's something similar to what's happening with Wanchain right now. And we're having a pretty clear POC on the volume profile. Let me get it up quickly here. We can see the POC on the volume profile is at 89.8 cents. We're currently at 89 cents. So the POC is literally right above of the current prices, suppressing us down a little bit here. We can see it's actually just moved up here to 93 cents. The point is this area between around 84 cents and 1 USD is a massive area of buying, selling contention. So it's a massive fight between the bulls and the bears on Wanchain here in this region. And what I would encourage people to do, if you haven't already entered Wanchain, you want to enter Wanchain, or you're looking to sell Wanchain, whatever your situation may be. I'm not going to advise you to do that, or whatever you want to do, but the point is, what I would advise you to do is wait for a breakdown below, potentially 84 cents if you want to exit, and wait for a break up above potentially, I'd say $1.09 here, because we actually broke above $1 multiple times, but $1.09 seems to be the most fundamental resistance. We could even say $1.08 even. So we can have $1.08. It's been rejecting us. We held it for support here, held it for resistance here, resistance, resistance, and resistance. So $1.09 or 8 cents is a good area to get into Wanchain if you're looking to buy and you're not too happy with holding it on until it breaks out, right? Because this consolidation is very lengthy, and I can understand people who don't want to just wait around all day. So $1.08, set your alerts. That's what I'd be doing. Once we pass that point, I think it will be pretty clear movement to the upside. And then we'll probably face our first resistance here at $1.36 made in September. But I think we're getting ahead of ourselves here because we actually are in a bit of an unstable market. And although I'm still bullish on the market, although I still think the market's going to go up, I don't think we should be talking about the $28 Wanchain when we're down here at 80 cents. And, we're in late November. So it's not looking too good right now. But the point is, it will be making a move very soon. We have that compression that I just showed you. And we have on the, let me see again. We have the MACD, which is coming in for a bullish daily cross, which is kind of lines up with the compression and the retest of the descending channel. So I think that if we're going to move on Wanchain, this month or next month, before Bitcoin tops out, if we're going to move before Bitcoin tops out, I'm thinking we will move after Bitcoin tops out, but if we're going to move before Bitcoin tops out, I think it's going to be within the next week or maybe 10 days maximum, right? 10 days maximum on Wanchain, because we have this compression, we have the MACD cross incoming. I think that 10 days, we should have plenty of time to try and make a move, either to the upside or the downside. Now, I would lean towards it being bullish, but honestly, it really depends on what happens with BTC. And since I'm uncertain about that, I'm going to have to be uncertain about the short-term price action on Wanchain. But longer term, I think it's definitely going to go up if the bull market continues for sure. Let's see here on the 4-hourly chart, and this is something I wanted to bring up as well. So we're on the descending channel right now, but I just showed you on the daily chart. Even on the 4-hourly chart, we've broken out of a descending channel, and we've actually formed another little descending channel to keep an eye on here in the shorter term. So keep an eye on that, and if we break that to the upside, that'll be about 93 cents. If you remember, the POC was at 93 cents as well, so that would be a solid break to the upside above the POC and above this little channel here. And from that region, we can definitely start testing $1 again, $1 again, which would be good to see, and we can start flipping some of these highs, right? Start making higher highs and flip this upwards trend, right? That would be great to see. On the weekly chart, and this is another thing I want to bring up on the weekly chart, we're in a very critical spot, and this is why I think we're going to be moving on for the next 10 days maximum, right? Because we have a bearish MACD cross incoming on the weekly chart. If we see another big red weekly candle, we will be seeing that bearish MACD cross trigger, and that would probably most likely send Wanchain below its bull market support band, which is a critical support area at 85 cents to 90 cents. So right now, we are at a critical time, and we're holding a critical support band, and if we lose this band, it's probably going to be a sell signal, right? A weekly close below this bull market support band is probably going to be a sell signal. We really don't want to be losing that this late into the cycle, especially after just gaining it again in August. So we really want to be avoiding that bearish MACD cross, and if we can keep closing on or above this bull market support band at 85 cents, that would be great to see. What we do have on Wanchain as well is a compression on the Bollinger Bands, right? Last time we had compression similar to this was in January here, and we saw a massive move to the upside. We also had a little compression here in January 2020, and we moved from around 14 cents to around 33 cents, right? So every time we compress in the Bollinger Bands, it tends to be a dramatic move, whether to the downside or the upside. That really depends on Bitcoin, of course. But given my opinion on the market, which is generally bullish even still, I would say that this move is going to be coming to the upside, and I would say we're preparing for it right now. As for when it happens, it's very hard to predict. As you can see, we've been compressing for literally 8 candles or 9 candles. So it's hard to predict, but the point is it's on the way. And if you don't want to wait around for it, as I said, set your alarms for $1.08. And once we pass that point, we should start getting a move on with Wanchain. One thing I want to note on Wanchain that I have been looking at in the past day or two is it's been pretty interesting. We've actually been, and this is kind of part of the reasons I'm making this video, unlike other altcoins which have been dying against Bitcoin, Wanchain's actually been moving against Bitcoin in this recent correction starting from the 19th of November, right? It's gone up against Bitcoin roughly 17%, which is great to see, and we're starting to see that independence from Bitcoin that we've so desperately lusted for on Wanchain, desired on Wanchain, because genuinely this coin is constantly in a downwards trend against Bitcoin, and it's constantly dying off on the market cap ranking, and it's just sad to see because the fundamentals are so great. But it's great to see that Wanchain is finally making some independent moves from the rest of the market. And you would have noticed in this correction, if you watched Wanchain closely, it was moving up to 94, 93 cents while all altcoins were down 10%. So it's good to see. I hope we can keep it up. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next one.